You're about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
Back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOC-DALI. So this has gone on way too long. It should have never even happened. But when the October 7th attack happened in Israel, 1,200 people murdered, babies beheaded, people raped, hostages taken. The whole world, the night of October 7th, 2023, or the next day, October 8th, should have gone in, gotten Hamas out of Palestine, because Hamas is not ruling Gaza or Palestine at all with any sort of humanitarianism, without any sort of respect or regard for the people. Instead, Hamas decides to attack Israel, run back and hide behind their women and children, and hope that they could use the hostages and their own citizens as shields. I said this back in 2023. The world needs to come together, get those hostages out, and then get Hamas out of Gaza and let Palestine have much better rulers, or whoever is taking over. You can't be LGBTQAI plus in Gaza. You can't have the same women's rights as you can in Israel or America or Europe in Gaza. And this now, the Gaza-Israel war is really taking its toll on everybody. And you keep hearing ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. And the answer has been in front of the world since day one. All right? You get Hamas out of Palestine. And Gaza. Get the hostages home. There's people that have been there over 400 plus days. Actually, no. Now, almost 600 days. 700 days being tortured, raped, starved. Get the hostages back and get Hamas out of Gaza. The aid that has been coming in has been usurped and confiscated by Hamas. And these individuals need to get, the Palestinian people need food. They need water. They need medicine. It's a mess. The situation is a mess. And I don't understand. The UN was designed after Nazi Germany to make sure no more atrocities like what happened with the Nazis ever happen again. And the UN should have October 7th or October 8th done their job. And instead, all you're hearing is, no, well, there needs to be ceasefire, and we need to, drop more food, drop more. The Palestinian people need a lot more than just food dropped there. They need Hamas out and a new regime helping them and building infrastructure and allowing them to have freedoms, and not putting them in harm's way, but in the middle of a war that should have never even started. And we still have hostages over there after almost 2 years. What we're at now, 1 year and 9 months. This is disgusting. And the atrocities that are happening and how much worse this is going. It's, and Israel, everybody says, well, Israel should have gone in and done it quick. They couldn't. Israel couldn't on October 8th go in and get the hundreds of hostages that were taken out quickly, because the Hamas hid behind their women and children. They were using hospitals, schools. They have tunnels underneath vulnerable areas. And so it's been a miracle, Israel being able to get the hostages back that they have, and Trump has helped with negotiations, but it's a mess over there. And when I see the terms free Palestine, I agree that Palestine needs to be freed from Hamas. Hamas caused this. Hamas started this, and Hamas is continuing this. Give the hostages back, get the hell out. Iran needs to stop funding this, and let these people rebuild. The Palestinian people did not want to be. I understand there were some that joined Hamas, but in the whole, the Palestinian people do not want Hamas ruling them, and the Palestinian people do not want Israeli hostages. This did not. I don't understand what Hamas was trying to do, except they want to make Israel look bad and people hate Israel. And I think people who are smart and understand the situation know that these were individuals at a peace rally, at a peace concert, and on a kibbutz, and these were babies beheading babies. You're not gonna get world support unless people are terrorists and supporting terrorists. But here we are, and the longer this goes, the more people think that the hostages are dead, and that Gaza and Hamas should be left alone. See, Israel has the same thinking that America had, in terms of you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, and no man left behind. Israel is not a country where you could take their innocent civilians and they're going to turn their back on them. They got to get them back. But how do they get them back when Hamas is hiding behind their civilians and in tunnels? And you don't have world leaders helping you. World leaders, this could have been over in less than 24 hours if other countries got involved and got those hostages back. And I said that a year and a half ago. I said when this all started, if the world came together, instead, all that's happening is, they're all complaining and, saying, well, it's apartheid and Israel should have never ruled them back in 2006. And then when they left, the Palestinians were still mad about that. And, all the other stuff that's going on. Listen, get the hostages out. The UN could organize this today. We're going to go in. We're going to get the hostages out. Hamas, you're out. You're not ruling the Palestinians. And the UN could even come up with a transitory government or a transitional government. But right now, the country is run by terrorists. And this is what a country run by terrorists looks like. Israel is sending aid. The U.S. is sending aid. But as Trump said, it's chaotic. There's lines. Nobody's allowing there to be that infrastructure within Gaza. 1-877 Daliah. Don't go away.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, and on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. So apparently a recent poll shows that most Americans are spending close to half of their day online. I'm actually surprised. Actually, no, I think it's half of Americans spend half their day online, but I honestly think it's more than that. If you work from home, if you do most of your work on a computer, you're getting up, you're checking your computer, you're checking your screen, you're going to the bathroom, you're taking your phone into the bathroom, then you're listening to music, so you're on your phone getting your music and your playlist in the morning when you get ready. Then maybe you're driving to work, or maybe you're not. Then you get on your computer is on all day. You come home, and then you're streaming movies or TV. So you are on a screen most of your day. Now, if you go to the gym, that gives you a good hour or two off. If you go to church or temple or mosque and pray, then at least you're getting away from a computer. If you're out there doing some sports, playing racquetball or tennis or pickleball or something, you're interacting with people, but the majority of people are online for at least half their day. I think it's even more. So this is a survey being reported by the New York Post. Eric Bruno, Senior Vice President of Product Management for Optimum, their telecommunications firm interviewed 2,000 U.S. residents who have a home internet subscription with any company for the poll. And Bruno says the survey was eye-opening, and they were amazed to see how many hours folks are watching, shopping, browsing online on a daily basis. They say it underscores how important a strong, affordable, and reliable internet has become in today's world. Now, according to this survey, Americans spend more than 10 hours a day on the internet. They spend 5.4 hours browsing, working, gaming, looking at social media, reading emails, or paying bills. Really, 5.4 hours working, among other things? If you have an 8-hour job, I don't want you staring at a screen for 8 hours, but this is what the average person was saying they work. So they're not necessarily putting in their 8 hours, but that's okay. I don't want them getting strained eyes. I'd rather they be doing work using their hands and meetings. But if you're working remotely, you're on a computer for all that time. 55% use their television to stream shows or movies, followed by 20% with their mobile phones, 25% use a laptop or desktop. They say for general internet consumption, the majority of customers access service on their mobile phones or computers. So the survey were individuals over 18. This survey was conducted between May 6th and 14th. But as a doctor, I know why we're having rising obesity, depression, anxiety, social isolation, loneliness, neglect. It's because people are just on their computers, or they're just watching TV or binging on that. And people actually prefer it. There's a lot of young people who prefer their interaction on Discord or through video games or online than actual going out on a date. It's actually saving them money to be meeting and talking online than actually going out and spending $20 for a sandwich. So, what does this do to our species? Well, if we're not out there and if we're spending most of our day at home, we're not among other people. And if we're not among other people, we're not mating like the human species needs. But another thing is, it's very easy to get trapped in your own world. I love talking to students, to previous students, to people I love talking to people and learning because I get set in my own world and I keep thinking certain things are static. And then you learn, they're not doing that anymore. That you could watch the news, but the news only tells you what they want to tell you. I want to know what's really going on in the world. I want to know what's really happening. And when I'm finding out that students are not necessarily writing things out in terms of medical orders or whatever, it's all computers and they're hitting buttons that's doing a lot of their thinking, like a sliding scale, you start to go, wait a second here. What happens if somebody pulls the plug or somebody hacks into your system? And we saw that. Medical students were calling me going, how do you do a sliding scale? How do you do that? And I like, you learn that. Didn't you learn that in school? So it's kind of frustrating to see such a dependency we have on computers. The other thing, too, is these computers, if you're a conspiracy theorist, can feed anything they want to us. If I want to go shopping, so like, for example, I needed some gum. So I went on Amazon this morning so I could put in for gum, right? I used to go to Walmart all the time, but I'm tired of spending $200 to go get some gum. So I just go online, order my gum. Well, the gum that was pitched to me was what Amazon decided. Yeah, I should have probably thought of my own brand, but I think I bought this brand called Dentine. I don't know why. It's because that was the brand that was pitched to me, and it was spearmint, and it looked yummy because I want sugar-free gum. And I just got manipulated into buying a brand of gum that I probably wouldn't have bought. Now, you could walk into a store and get manipulated by a store, with these price grabbers or, on Black Friday, and if there's a big happy face, big yellow happy face, there's ways that you can be manipulated that way. But the computer really knows how to manipulate you. Yeah, I'm going to a conference in Hawaii in January, and somehow my computer knows that, remembers it, and is pushing little ads and little things that I need to be thinking about and buying. I'm like, really? So us as a species, one is we need to be outdoors. Okay, it's really important for us to be outdoors. I know we're afraid of melanoma, but you need to be outdoors. You need to be outside. If you are afraid of the sun, then go out at dusk or sunset or sunrise, but get outdoors. Two, look at things, the forest from the trees. You can't be looking at a two-dimensional screen. Even if you're able to make 3D images, that's not normal. Your brain knows this isn't normal. You need to take breaks from being online, and you got to quit sitting. We're all getting really flat butts because we're losing muscle in our butts because we're sitting too much. Get a stand-up desk, walk around, get out there. But the one thing a lot of you don't want to do, and I'm even noticing I'm doing less, is the socialization. It's so much easier to come home and watch a movie than to go out with people. It's also cheaper. And it's so important to go out and be among people and talk and socialize. That's how it used to be with church. And you would have, picnics, and you would have socials, or, people would get together on Wednesday night for Bible study or whatever, but you had community. And that community is so important. In Judaism, you have Havaras, which are groups of Havarim, or friends. And they get together, the families get together, the kids play together. We're just not seeing that. Everybody gets into their own lives. They're entertained to the upteenth potential by, because they're able to find whatever they want online, and they don't have to go out and search for it. They don't even have to hunt for their food. They could just order it online. And I'm not specifically hunt. People don't hunt. They haven't hunted in a while. Well, some people hunt, but I mean, you used to have to go and walk around and go, well, maybe that looks good, or maybe I'll order this. Now people just do that online. And I think for the human species, we are really going to accelerate our demise. We will be extinct one day. We will. We're not really trying hard to keep us on Earth. We're not. We're letting computers take advantage. We're letting our health go. We're not really enjoying and embracing Earth. If you're sitting in a cubicle, you're only going to go so far. Where our birth rate is going to drop. The way we're doing things is not beneficial. And when you see that we're spending hours upon hours of our day online, that's a problem. Now, how do we go back? I don't think we will. We're going to incorporate more and more of internet and computers and tech into our lives. We're already doing that with work and automation. We're doing that with AI. I mean, I'm watching commercial after commercial, and they're cartoons. I don't want to watch cartoons or CGI for my commercials. But that's what they're doing because it's cheaper and they don't have to use people. People are going to be less important. And if a person is less important, they don't have an evolutionary advantage. There has to be a need for people. And if you're not needing your fellow peeps, you're contributing to our demise. Get off the internet. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Dali, 1-877 DOCDALI. So making huge headlines this weekend, the U.S. and European Union agreed to a trade deal. And this is pretty huge. The euro rose, our NASDAQ is up, and our Dow Jones is up as a result of this trade deal, which we, Trump has been making deals. And I understand most of these, countries want to work with us. But I really agree with the fact that we should not be paying more than other people are paying, and we should stop getting screwed over. So any chance to be less screwed, I'm a fan of. And so U.S. President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announced this deal while they were in Scotland. Trump is still in Scotland meeting with the British Prime Minister. This Turnberry is gorgeous. His Turnberry golf course in Scotland, boy, exquisite. But back to the EU, the deal will see a 15% tariff on EU goods imported into the U.S., half of what Trump had threatened to impose back on August 1st, according to Fox News. And Trump said, we are agreeing to that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%. So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all European countries, which I think I could say were essentially closed. Von der Leyen said Europe will also purchase $150 billion worth of U.S. energy as part of the deal and make $600 billion in other investments into the United States. Now, they said this framework deal was similar to the one that Trump did with Tokyo, where Japan will invest $550 billion into the United States and a 15% tariff imposed on their cars and other imports. So the euro is going to strengthen. The U.S. dollar, that's something that has been, very concerning. But you guys are much more economically inclined than I am. But, I keep hearing from my listeners, though, the tariffs are bad. This 15% tariff now gets passed on to the consumer. If you tariff a Japanese good or a European Union good, they're going to still want to make their money. So that's going to get passed on to us. In theory, yes. That we know businesses do that. Absolutely. That when Biden was saying, well, why don't you pay your workers more? What did these companies do? They passed the price on to the consumer. However, what you're missing with this is these are other countries' goods. We don't have to buy Japanese vehicles that are made out of the country. I believe if a Japanese automobile is made here in America, if it's an American factory, it won't get tariffed because we're not importing it. But consumers don't have to buy, per se, much of what would end up. Let's say Japan says, I really want you to buy my Toyota or whatever, and we're going to raise the price. Americans can go to Kia, go to Subaru. They could buy something else if they don't like the price hike that's happening. And so if Japan really wants to sell it to an American and they still want the American market, their prices need to be comparable. Or they need to start investing in the United States, building factories here, hiring Americans, and then not having to worry about the extra 15%. The long game of this is brilliant. Now, the critics of Trump and the libs are going, oh, no, we don't have the time. This is drastic. We're going to have increased prices. This is going to hurt us. They have no patience. Yet when it came to climate change, when it came to, look, I know it's going to cost more to go solar. I know it's going to cost more to rip out your appliances and put in electric. I know it's going to cost you $60,000 to buy a Tesla. But it'll be worth it for your great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren because that Tesla is going to save the climate and save Earth. So I'm confused. The liberals want you to be patient with the climate change costs, spend the extra money on these green energy and all sorts of other things so it'll help the great-great-great-grandchildren. But when it comes to the tariffs and bringing in external revenue, bringing companies in to America to build and hire, they need results in 48 hours. Come on, people. So I really do believe in the long run, these tariffs thing can work, and I think they are working. Will prices go up? Well, it depends on what we're buying. If you have been buying cheap clothes online that you're getting from China, and I've bought some blouses, I am blown away that I've been able to get $6 and $10 blouses from China. Some of them sewn together horribly, some of them really cute. But yeah, I go online. I think it's an American company. The clothes are adorable. I order it. And then when I get the package, it has Chinese writing on it. So if China, let's say, strikes a deal with the U.S. and, the import tax is whatever, percent is 30%, whatever. And they then yes, maybe that $6 or $10 blouse is going to be $9 or $13. Who knows? Whatever, depending on whatever deal Trump makes with China. And if I still prefer to buy that because it's cheaper, then China's going to be able to collect on the import. But if I don't need to buy their $6 crap shirt and I could go and get something else that's better quality from another country or online, I could do that. So consumers keep forgetting that they have power. As long as capitalism exists, we have power. Once the government runs things, we don't. But if you have a choice between an American car and a Japanese car, and that Japanese car is more expensive, you could then go buy the American car or the American-made car. You have choices. You don't have to pay that 15% if they try to dump it on you. If they're smart, they don't. They don't want to try to push that their goods are now 15% more expensive than others. So what America needs to do to thrive is, one, we need to bring money in. We don't have enough people paying taxes. We've been at trade deficits. We've been at, the value of the dollar is weakening. We give away too much. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough people working. People don't want to work, so we're not getting that tax dollars in. So we need to get money from other countries, especially if that money is due. We also want more jobs in America. we also don't want to rely on other countries. It kills me that we rely on China for most of our generic medications. You know how dangerous that is? We are always hearing of medication shortages. Well, then call up the California plant or the Minnesota plant and tell them to step up production. We can't, because those plants are overseas. That has to change. It also has to change that our medications are so much more expensive in America than Mexico or Canada. And I get these companies want to make a profit, and they're going to make a profit wherever they can, especially if they're trying to give away cheaper drugs. But there's a way to do this, and I know Trump's trying to combat that as well. So if we are reaching the tariff deals like Trump promised, and we're getting screwed less, I think in the long run, it is going to help us. It's going to help us big time. And the more money we could bring in from other countries, and the more we could stop the waste, fraud, and abuse, the more money that could then end up in our pockets. Which is why I think whatever Doge finds and they're able to cut, we start getting some refund checks back. Keeps the voters engaged and encourages more waste to be found. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. You know, we've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles, along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Dr. Daliah here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877 Dr. Daliah, 1-877 DOCDALI. So no spoilers, I promise, no spoilers. But I just want to give my review on Happy Gilmore 2. All right. Happy Gilmore was not my favorite Adam Sandler movie. In fact, when I saw it in the 90s, I think I might have rented it because I didn't have time to go to the theaters because I was busy. I was in school. I liked Adam Sandler, but it was, I thought part of the movie was stupid. Part of the movie was funny. But like most 90s movies with Saturday Night Live alums, you just go there for the, for just, it's entertaining. So I found it entertaining. So when I heard there was going to be a Happy Gilmore 2, I was like, so I decided to see Happy Gilmore again because I remember I didn't really love it the first time around, but I didn't remember much. Billy Madison. I keep mixing it up with Billy Madison. And when I watched the first one again, I was like, compared to a lot of the movies nowadays, this actually was pretty good. So I really appreciated it later when I saw it. Just like Hot Tub Time Machine. I don't know how much of a hit Hot Tub Time Machine was, but I saw that recently. I was like, okay, that was some funny stuff. So Happy Gilmore 2 has come out on Netflix, so it didn't hit the theaters. And there's, I actually really, really liked the first half. Second half was kind of blah, but I did like the first half. And I liked it because there were a lot of cameos. Travis Kelce was in it, and he nailed it. Okay, he could act. He could do, I think Travis Kelce does have a place in Hollywood. So I thought his cameo and debut was fantastic. They brought back most of the characters that they could, which I thought was fantastic. And then they paid homage and they tributed those that passed. They did that really, really well. Another thing I thought Adam Sandler did, which was very cool, is he had his two daughters in the movie. And he has. If you've ever watched Grown Ups and all that, his daughters are in the movie. They don't have big roles in his previous films. He gave them bigger roles in this. But I think that's really cool that Daddy is kind of taking care of his daughters. His wife is usually in every movie he ever does. The wife does a good job as well. I think her name is Sherry. So I thought that was really cool. But when you're watching it, you notice, it's interesting. I can almost predict when either writers went on strike or somebody got fired or there was a deadline, because you see the story going well, and then all of a sudden you're like, really? What are the writers doing? Are they high? They could have done this scene completely different. And so sadly, you're going to see Happy Gilmore 2. Some of the reviews are mixed because the story just ends up starting to go kind of stupid. A lot of people also didn't like some of the choices they did with some of the characters I don't want to go into because no spoilers. Eminem did a great job. His cameo was awesome. And like I said, a strong point to this is if you really like the first movie, they made sure to have stars either as relatives of the original and I thought that was pretty cool. But as with many movies nowadays, the writing falls short. They had to change things up because back in the 90s, we weren't that politically correct. So you had, what was her name? Virginia, the one that Julie Bowen played for the Modern Family actress, the one that the character she played from Happy Gilmore. They had her in underwear serving beer, things like that. They can't really do that joke with Hollywood giving the thumbs up now because everything has to be so politically correct. So within those confines, Happy Gilmore, who's punching everybody and punching Bob Barker, which, by the way, in the first scene, the first movie, the Bob Barker fight scene was hilarious. But they're not going to beat up, a game show host in the next movie. They don't do that. But he definitely brings in his friends. He has a lot of loyalty. When I watch Adam Sandler, he's got a lot of loyalty to his friends. And his friends are always in his movies, and I think that's pretty cool. He also doesn't overly put politics into it, which kind of allows you to have that break. As I said, I really like sports and entertainment and movies that take you away from everyday life. The last thing I want is to see more politics. But he also brings John Daly and Jack Nicklaus and all the Nicholson and all the Nicklaus and all the with the exception of Tiger Woods. I didn't see Tiger Woods. He brings in these really phenomenal athletes in golf. And I think that was really, really cool, giving them opportunities to have lines and all that. But the movie is not the best movie. Okay, you're going to come out of it going, the writers could have done better. But you are going to come out of it also going, that was kind of cool. I was actually entertained. The one thing, though, I don't want you to come out of it is getting depressed. It is depressing for a movie such as Happy Gilmore that I would think would be only a few years old in my mind. We're looking at a 30-year-old film. And so you end up while watching it realizing that so many people that were in that are dead. And that's depressing. And so it's interesting because when I was growing up in the 80s, the 50s were so far away from the 80s. It was such a different time. So much had changed that you're like, okay, well, the 50s is really old school. Those are the olden days. I cannot believe that the 90s are now the olden days for us. When to me, I'm still singing and dancing and playing 90s music. I'm loving the 90s movies. 80s, it's interesting. If there's an 80s movie, I could feel that it's older. But if there's a Water Boy or an Adam Sandler movie, I'm thinking it's modern time. I'm forgetting that I'm looking at something that's 30 years old. And in a few years, it's going to be as old as the end of World War II was when I was growing up. That's how time is changing, and that could really get to you. So when you do look at these movies, the take home for me, I want to make sure I wasn't coming up at the end of the segment. The take home, and I do have a moral to this. It's not go and watch Happy Gilmore 2. I thought it was good. Kudos to everybody in there, good cameos, but the writing could have been better for the second half. But this really reminds you that 30 years goes by flipping fast. And we age. Some of us age well, and some of us don't make it to older age. And you only have one life, and you better enjoy it. You know, the idea that you can become rich, playing golf, that's nice. The message you should really get is the 2020s are going to later be the olden days. And the 2050s are coming fast. And if you were calculating your age of what I'm going to be in the 2050s, you better start rethinking and doing things that make you, enjoy life now. And it's nostalgic. We definitely watch nostalgia. You could definitely kind of submerge into older things, but remind yourself, go look, like Die Hard. One of my favorite movies ever is Die Hard. Die Hard was, I think, 1988. We're almost at the 40th anniversary of Die Hard. I'm going to get so depressed. So realize time's going fast and get your butt out there and live life. 1-877 Doc Daliah.
Looking for an easy read that can actually help secure someone's future? Pick up a copy of Mark Falter's book, Common Sense Income Strategies. For the past 30-plus years, Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. It's not rocket science, it's a pretty easy read. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. Common Sense Income Strategies is available now on Amazon or by calling 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Common Sense Income Strategies by financial fitness show host Mark Falter. Secure your financial future today.